All right, let's dive right in. We're going to uncover a pretty dark truth about how groups, office teams, online communities, you name it, can turn on their own. And believe it or not, it all starts with a really strange and brutal ritual in a chicken coop.
Now, this isn't just random, animals being animals. What you're reading here describes a very specific, documented behavior, and it has a chilling purpose. This one act is the key, the absolute key to understanding this whole story.
I know what you're thinking. A chicken coop and a Zoom meeting? Come on, that sounds like a crazy stretch, right? But the underlying dynamics, the group pressure, the scapegoating, what happens when leadership just vanishes, well, it's shockingly similar. Stick with me.
So first things first, we all use that phrase, pecking order. But it turns out we've kind of got it wrong. It's not just a simple hierarchy of who's on top. It's actually a specific kind of sickness, a pathology that only shows up when a group's entire structure starts to fall apart.
Okay, check out the specific conditions here because this is fascinating. This only happens among the hens. And crucially, it only happens when a clear authority figure, the rooster, is gone. When there's no leadership, the attack itself, it's laser-focused right on the neck. And the biological goal is pretty brutal. It's to separate the mind from the body, to literally cause the target to lose its head and just shut down. All right, so let's swap the chicken coop for something a little more familiar, a digital conference room. We're about to see this exact same dynamic play out with human beings in a real, documented case study. So get this. The setting is a psychoanalytic symposium held on Zoom. I mean, these are professionals. These are people literally trained to understand group dynamics. And yet, the moment their own leadership structure failed, they went right back to this primitive pecking ritual. It's wild. And here it is, the analogy laid out perfectly. The absent rooster in the coop, that becomes the failed leadership in the group. The subordinate hen getting attacked, that becomes a human scapegoat. And the physical pecking is replaced by what the analysis calls horizontal policing, vicious attacks carried out right there in the Zoom chat.
This quote from one of the participants just cuts right to the heart of it. Without leadership making them feel safe, the group felt totally exposed. And that feeling, that fear of being unprotected, it's the exact same trigger that causes the hens to enforce their own brutal order. And the attacks, the digital pecks, were swift and they were specific. The scapegoat's comments in the chat were immediately framed as aggressive and rude. He was talked down to, like a misbehaving child. They even tried to pathologize him with a political jab. These weren't disagreements. They were tactics designed to discredit him and cast him out of the group.
So how exactly did they do it? This wasn't just random anger flaring up. No, the analysis showed that it was systematic, a repeatable 6-step playbook for how to isolate and, well, neutralize a member of the group. Just look at this progression. It starts by labeling someone a threat. Then you strip away their status, treat them like a kid. Then you use fancy theories to erase their humanity, turning them into a case study. But step four is absolutely crucial. The group actually thanks the attackers. They reframes the aggression as a form of care. The last steps are to pressure the leaders to shut the person up, and then, finally, complete the dehumanization. It is a chillingly effective process. And this breakdown shows you exactly how the mob forms. You've got the primary peckers, the ones launching the direct hits. But they are enabled by the supporters, the ones who praise the aggression and call it comfort. And then you have the side peckers who attack the leadership for not stepping in, basically demanding that the scapegoat be silenced. It's a whole system.
So why does this happen? It's really easy to just blame a few bad actors, right? But the research points to a much deeper issue, a fundamental failure in the group's structure. There's a key ingredient missing.
And that missing ingredient is something called opponent processing. Now, that sounds technical, but think of it like the muscles in your arm. You need both your bicep and your tricep pulling against each other to have controlled movement. It's that productive friction, that healthy tension that allows a system to think, to self-correct, and ultimately to stay healthy. In any healthy group, you need these tensions. You need the structure of the law, but you also have to have room for dissent. You need a clear task, but you also need space for people to express themselves. You need authority, sure, but that authority has to be open to being challenged. This dynamic balance is what actually allows for real growth. But when a group tries to get rid of all that tension, usually in the name of safety, the whole system just collapses on itself. Dissent is no longer a healthy challenge, it becomes a danger.
Responsibility gets replaced by just personal expression. Leadership becomes impossible, and the group stops doing things and just starts thinking about things, or rather, talking about them. So let's bring this all together. What does a group become when it loses its ability to handle conflict and, just like those hens, turns inward to attack its own members? Well, the final move in this case study was incredibly telling. The leaders didn't address the conflict. They just shut down the Zoom chat where it was all happening. And the group celebrated this. They said they felt safe again. They didn't solve the problem at all. They just removed the symptom from view. They basically killed the messenger. This leads us to the chilling diagnosis, the anti-group. It's a system that's completely trapped in a loop, giving these elegant lectures about its own problems while performing those exact problems in real time. It's a group that has mastered talking the talk, but has completely lost the ability to walk the walk. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. Look at the groups you're a part of, at work, in your community, maybe even in your family. Are you all actually making progress and solving real problems? Or have you become so focused on avoiding any kind of conflict that you're just getting better and better at describing the problems you can no longer fix?